chapters to read today. 13 and 14. Last we saw Alfie. He's trying to avoid going to the dentist, Miss Root, but it's unavoidable. He had this great plan to hide around in his school, but guess what? Winnie was there. Not only was she waiting outside on her moped, she decided to bring it inside. Let's find out what happens. Chapter 13, IMPRO. Alfie belted past a sign that read, "No running in the corridor." By the way, corridor is another word for hallway. He was becoming breathless now, and a sense of panic was descending on him. How could he outrun a moped, even one with a very heavy load? The noise of the bike's engine was becoming louder and louder. When he was getting closer and closer, Alfie tiptoed to the central staircase and hid behind a balustrade. From high up on the third floor, he looked down to see where she was heading. Tutting along the bottom corridor was a little red moped. The social worker's legs were astride it. The bike was advancing slowly, Winnie's sandals skimming the floor as she peered into all the classrooms to see if she could spot her prey. Even from his height, Alfie could tell Winnie was fuming. No one likes having to wait outside in the wind and rain. Now the social worker's face was curled up like she was chewing on a stinging nettle. Alfie kept dead still for a moment. Winnie might detect any sudden movements. So here he is. He's on the second floor. He's hiding behind the railing. Winnie's down on the bottom floor with the moped. Alfie, a patrol up and down the lower corridor. After a patrol up and down the lower corridor, the social worker stood up on her moped. She circled around the bottom of the stairs a few times to gain speed. Then suddenly, with a sharp twist of the throttle, she mounted the first step. Alfie leaped from behind the railing, and as he did so, Winnie spotted him. "Alfred!" she shouted as the moped bounced up the stairs. "Alfred, come back here, boy!" Alfie was running, but he didn't know where to. He darted down another corridor, bouncing off the walls as his legs carried him faster and his mind could direct him. The map of the school plotted out in his head from all that time trudging between lessons was now alerting him to something. He was reaching a dead end. The hum of the moped's engine was getting louder. Now Alfie was at the end of a corridor pinned against a large bank of lockers. Winnie had reached the top floor and was hurtling towards him. He leapt to his left. Darn, the stupid language lab door was locked. Still, the moped was coming straight toward him. He leapt to the right and turned the handle. He put his weight against the door and burst into the room. Alfie found himself in the middle of a drama class. "And go with it, IMPRO!" cried the teacher. Mr. Snood taught drama. He was a bald and bespectacled man who always wore a black polo neck jumper, black jeans, and black shoes. If he stood next to the black curtain in the assembly hall, it looked like there was a giant boiled egg floating through the air. Snood lived and breathed drama. Drama was his love. Drama was his life. Drama was his drama. Snood taught his subject with a ferocious sincerity. Alfie found all that pretending to be a tree business in Snood's class was acutely embarrassing. Most of the pupils did. In fact, as Alfie burst through the door, all the kids were loitering in the middle of the classroom, looking like they would rather be anywhere else than here. They were reluctantly trying to improvise, or IMPRO, as Snood called it, a scene based around the end of the world. This was always Snood's favorite starting point for any IMPRO, the world ending. "A giant meteor is about to hit the earth, IMPRO!" is how the floating egg would start most of his classes. Then Snood would take his chair and spin it rather dramatically. How else? With it facing the wrong way. He would sit with his short legs astride it. From there, the drama teacher would watch intently as his pupils shuffled to and fro, mumbling something about a giant meteor hitting the earth, but really just praying for an actual meteor to hit the earth to save him from this embarrassment. "I said IMPRO!" exclaimed Snood. "I'm not doing drama today, sir," uttered Alfie. "That doesn't matter, boy," announced Mr. Snood in his deep, rich voice. It sounded as rich as chocolate mousse. "You have become part of the scene. So a giant meteor is about to hit the earth and wipe out all human, animal, and plant life. IMPRO!" Said Alfie. He couldn't think of a single thing to say, but he could hear the moped stuttering just outside the room. "IMPRO!" implored Mr. Snood. Bad news about the whole giant meteor thing hitting Earth," sputtered Alfie. "But the upside, the pizzas I ordered are here." Just then, Winnie's moped crashed through the door. Even Snood looked a little taken aback by this, but it was the improvisation growing by the moment, and there was no time to stop. IMPRO! What? Replied Winnie, fixing Alfie in her sights as she skidded to a halt. Tell us what flavor pizzas you have, exclaimed Snood. I ain't no pizza delivery service, you fool. I'm a social worker. Here's Winnie bursting through the classroom. There's all the kids. There's Mr. Snood. Now, class, Snood turned to his pupils. What this lady has done here, anybody? No. She swapped roles midway through the IMPRO. Now, I've always said that's an IMPRO. No. I am here to get this boy to the dentist, exclaimed Winnie. What I would say now, and I know the first rule of IMPRO is, anybody? No, never stop an IMPRO. Another IMPRO, no. But I do feel passionately, what with a meteor hitting the earth and pizza just having been delivered, which, by the way, was a very skillful piece of IMPROing. Huge congrats, Alfie. You may well want your final meal to come with a free garlic bread. That adding a dentist appointment into the mix is just too much. I'm sorry, but that's an IMPRO on an IMPRO on IMPRO, and as such is a huge IMPRO. No. Winnie paused for a second, her whole body wobbling as the moped engine reverberated. She fixed Mr. Snood with a steely gaze. I don't know who you are, but please stop talking out of your bum. Then she turned her focus to Alfie. Now you get on here this moped at once. The boy stood motionless on the spot for a moment. I like this, though. Building tension, sense of drama, theater at its best. Will he get on the moped or not? Whispered the teacher to his class. Suddenly, Alfie pushed a chair into the path of the moped and fled out the room. Winnie swerved around in hot pursuit. Let's go where the IMPRO takes us! Come on, my actors! This is IMPRO on the move! With that, Snood stood, punched his fist in the air triumphantly, and led his utterly bemused students out of the room. They chased after Winnie, who chased after Alfie as he ran back down the corridor. The boy turned the corner and smack into his headmaster coming the other way. Now, come on, said Mr. Gray, trying his hardest to sound authoritative, but failing. What does the sign say? Toilets? Offered up Alfie. No, the other one. Oh, no running in the corridor, sir? Thank you. You nearly knocked me clean over. Sorry, sir. You could have someone's eye out. Alfie wasn't sure if this was true. Teachers tended to say this a lot. In their minds, just about anything, a stray football, a bag left in the wrong place, even late homework could have taken an eye out. However, this wasn't time to argue. Yes, of course. Sorry, sir, agreed Alfie. Now be on your way, boy, said the headmaster. A proud smile spread across his face. At last he had done something headmasterishly. Thank you, sir. Alfie walked off as quickly as he could without breaking into a run. Mr. Gray straightened his gray tie, combed his fingers through his gray hair, and continued on his way with a renewed sense of self-importance. However, as he turned the corner, he screamed, "Ah!" Winnie was flying toward the headmaster on her moped. "Out of the way, you fools!" she shouted. Just in time, Mr. Gray leapt against the wall. "Excuse me, madame," the headmaster called after. "No riding of mopeds or any two-kind wheel motor vehicles in school corridors, please." Winnie didn't look back. She barely heard him. Such was the roar of the engine. The headmaster stood and watched Winnie disappear off down the hall, shaking his head and tutting to himself. Just then he was knocked over by the drama teacher and ran over by 30 of his pupils. As Mr. Snood passed, he commented, "Very powerful trampled underfoot acting, Headmaster! Huge congrats!" Here's Mr. Gray getting ran over by the kids, said Mr. Snood. Chapter 14. Alfie galloped around the next corner and tipped over a school bag. With both his eyes still intact, he fell toward a door that was ajar and landed in a heap on the floor of the science laboratory. The poor elderly teacher, Miss Hare, was slap bang in the middle of a delicate experiment involving magnets and ball bearings. When Alfie crashed through the door, she dropped her large box of ball bearings. It smashed to the floor, which within seconds was awash with hundreds and hundreds of tiny bouncing metal balls. As Alfie climbed to his feet, a huge number of them rolled under his shoes at speed. Soon it was like he was wearing a set of roller skates which had a crazed mind of their own. The boys started rocking and rolling all over the classroom as if it was a very intoxicated person trying to dance. There he is. The prim and proper Miss Hare shouted, "You boy, come here!" She made a dash for him. However, the ball bearing spun under her shoes, too. She started sliding around her classroom like an emu on ice. Unable to stop herself, Miss Hare tumbled through the air. The science teacher's legs were now where her arms had been. Worse than that, her knickers were where her head had been. Knickers is another word for underwear. Miss Hare had flashed her knickers to the entire class. The pupils, who had been expecting nothing more exciting that afternoon than seeing some ball bearings roll slowly towards a magnet, exploded with laughter. Now they had a good look at their teacher's knickers. There's Miss Hare, falling over. Teachers having a good laugh. Students having a good laugh. And these were no ordinary knickers. Oh no, these knickers were rather large and rather frilly, almost Victorian-y. The laughter turned to gas as an outsized lady on an undersized moped knocked the door off its hinges as she exploded through it when he revved the engine until it roared. "Get on the back of my bike, boy!" Just then, Mr. Snood and his drama students caught up. They crowded around the door frame so they could watch IMPRO continue to unfold. "No!" shouted Alfie. "Never!" What did I tell you last term?" commented the drama teacher to his students. "Important rule of IMPRO, anybody? No. In any IMPRO, always say yes. Say no is an IMPRO. No, no." Alfie made a dash to the left, and the bike lurched to the left. He made a dash to the right, and the bike lurched to the right. Then he dived down on his hands and knees to try to scuttle to the door under the rows of desks and stools. By this time, Miss Hare, now completely red-faced at the incident that would surely live in school legend forever, as Knickergate had righted herself, smoothing down her pleated tweed skirt as if nothing had happened. She took off after Alfie, too. The science teacher grabbed the back of his blazer, her hands gripping to the cloth with all her might. Alfie jerked his body forward. Miss Hare had lost her balance and tumbled backward. Once again, those knickers that seemed to have traveled through time now traveled through space as well. This was Knickergate 2, or as Knickergate, the sequel, as it would surely become known. Winnie skidded back over to the classroom door on her moped so she could block Alfie's way out. "Give up, child?" "No." "You can't go on running forever." "And you can't go on, Alfie desperately searched for the right word. "Mopeding forever?" He never found it. The boy had no way out. The door was blocked by Snood and his herd of drama students. Jumping out of a window wasn't an option, as it was 3 stories down. Alfie was trapped. That's where we'll stop today. Stay tuned for chapter 15 and 16.